They say time heals all wounds, but some scars run deeper. Scars from fists, from fear, and from words like, "I could kill you with one hit." I was 15 when I heard those words. His voice echoed across the gym like thunder, and for the first time in my life, I stood my ground. But before I tell you how it all happened and how that boy who wanted to destroy me ended up becoming my brother in spirit, let me take you back to where it all began. Welcome to Uplifting Moral Stories. Stories that heal, inspire, and empower. My name's Jaden. Back then, I wasn't strong. Not physically. Not emotionally. I was just the quiet kid. The one who read martial arts books but never threw a punch. The one who looked at his own reflection and saw someone weak. And he was Devin. 6 feet tall. All muscle. All rage. And he had a name everyone feared. They called him One Hit. Because that's all it ever took. I didn't just fight people. He humiliated them. He broke them. And for some reason, he saw me as his next target. It was during lunch. I was at my locker, reading a passage from a book titled The Gentle Warrior. The irony, right? He showed me so hat me book flew. I bent to pick it up, and his voice came low, like a growl. "You think reading about kung fu will save you? I could kill you with one hit." People laughed, but not me. Not because I was brave, but because something in me finally snapped. He didn't flinch. He didn't cry. I stood up, and I said, "Then try." Silence. You could have heard a pin drop. Even he looked surprised. He stepped forward, and then something strange happened. A teacher walked by. The moment broke. Devin glared at me, clenched his jaw, and walked off. But the challenge was out there, and word spread like wildfire. Inuchet conforme. So I did the only thing I could do. I prepared. I trained in silence, in secret. Morning jogs before school, punches thrown at shadows in my garage, push-ups, sit-ups, discipline. But most of all, I trained my mind. Because I never wanted to hurt him. I just wanted to stop hurting. It was Friday. The gym. After school. He was already there. Crowd gathered. Phones out. Laughs whispered. I stepped onto the mat. My heart was pounding, but my eyes, they were calm. He smirked, raised his fist. "You ready to die in one hit?" I said nothing. He came at me, fast. A blur of fury. He didn't counter. He didn't block. I just moved. And he missed. Again. And again. I was like air. He was like fire. Burning out with every swing. Then he stopped, breathing heavy, confused. "Why won't you fight me?" I looked him in the eyes and said, "Because I'm not your enemy." That was it. He never hit me, and he never came back. Just like that, Devin disappeared. No one saw him at school the next day, or the day after. Rumors swirled, expelled, locked up. Maybe he ran away. But I knew better. He didn't just leave school. He left behind the version of himself that thrived on pain. That fight that never happened. It broke something in him. Something hollow he'd been hiding. And me? I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. Not because I won, but because I didn't lose myself in the process. Time moved on. I graduated, found peace in movement, discipline in breath, and healing in martial arts. I became a youth counselor, teaching kids how to find their center before the world knocked them off balance. I opened a modest dojo. Nothing flashy, just enough space for pain to be turned into purpose. I thought I closed the chapter on Devin, until one quiet evening. I was locking up the dojo. The street was empty, moonlight spilling onto the sidewalk, and then my phone buzzed. A message. "You probably don't remember me. I was the one who said he could kill you with one hit. I was wrong. You didn't just survive me, you changed me. Can we meet?" It was signed, Devin. We met at a quiet coffee shop. I sat by the window, heart pounding, and then he walked in. Older, lean, eyes still intense, but this time, they held something else. Remorse. He sat across from me, and for a while, he couldn't even speak. Then, That day in the hallway, I was trying to prove I was dangerous, but you didn't fight back. You stood your ground. That haunted me, because I knew I was the weak one. He told me everything. The abuse at home, the silence in his house that was louder than any scream, the way he wore violence like armor, afraid someone might see the scared kid underneath. And then he said the words I never thought I'd hear. I want to be better, but I don't know how. I looked him in the eye, not as a victim, not as an enemy, but as someone who had made it through. I reached into my gym bag and handed him a pair of gloves. Come train with me. He showed up the next day, clumsy, yet, but determined. I trained him the same way I had trained myself. Not to fight others, but to fight the voices inside that said he wasn't enough. Weeks passed, then months, then something incredible happened. Devin started helping the other kids. He listened, encouraged, and eventually we gave the program a name. One Hit Redemption. Because one hit doesn't have to destroy. It can rebuild. It can be the strike that breaks a cycle, the spark that lights a path. Today, Devin coaches kids who remind him of himself. And he tells them, one hit can end a life, or change it. Choose wisely. You see, this isn't a story about violence. It's a story about victory. Victory over fear, over trauma, over the parts of ourselves we hide. Jaden didn't win by fighting. He won by standing tall, by choosing compassion over chaos. And Devin? He didn't find weakness in apology. He found his freedom. True strength isn't in how hard you hit. It's in how deeply you heal. It's not in taking revenge, but in offering redemption. If this story touched you even a little, please hit that subscribe button and become part of our family here at Uplifting Moral Stories. Share this video with someone who needs to know that people can change, and that forgiveness doesn't make you weak, it makes you whole. Have you ever had to forgive someone who hurt you? Better yet, did someone ever forgive you? Let's talk about it. Drop your comments. Let's grow together, from enemies to brothers, from pain to purpose. This was Jaden's story, and maybe it could be yours too. See you in the next one.